This is the farmhouse where I grew up, where my father grew up, where my grandfather grew up, where my great-grandfather grew up. The main house was built in 1860. We got electricity in 1943 with the Rural Electrification Act. And now what I am doing is I'm removing the majority of the 1960 updates and reverting the era back to somewhere between 1920 and 1950. I'm going to show you each room in the order that I did them years ago. While I am no more of a carpenter or a designer than any member of my family has ever been, I'm doing it to suit me and my tastes. Every good workshop or lab needs a good sturdy bench. This is how we built ours. Back in the 1950s, there was a company called American Kitchens, and they made premium metal cabinetry for kitchens. We were lucky enough to purchase a complete kitchen from a guy, and we used some of those components in the lab. Here are two of the base cabinets that we wet sanded and then primed with Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer and painted with Rust-Oleum porcelain hard epoxy white paint. And here on the underside you can see where we spot primed with the Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer to kind of knock the rust on so it wouldn't keep growing. Here you can see we've got the two base cabinets in position, and the big drawer is from the farther cabinet, and that orange colored stuff on there is the citrus strip stripper. We're removing some of the paint that was sprayed on top of the baked enamel to remove it so that we could refinish it. And this is the larger of the two base cabinets with the large drawer restored. We also worked on the nylon slides and lubricated the metal slides inside to make them work smooth. And here's the inside of the large base cabinet after a good scrubbing. And it didn't look like it needed to be repainted, so we didn't. And here you can see inside the large drawer all refinished, and it looks just like it did when it rolled out of the factory. Now for the top, what I ended up with was 1.5 inch thick hard maple butcher block. Where I work, they got a mandate from corporate to remove all the wooden cabinets and countertops and replace them with aluminum and plastic. So I got that top, and here you can see me cutting it to size. And here you can see I'm doing a test fit and leveling the two base cabinets so that the top is level. And here you can see the top is finished with 3 coats of polyurethane, 2 of satin and 1 of gloss. You can see where at the end where there was a vise, we took dowels and drove them in and sanded them off. And then we took a router and rounded over the outer edges of the maple. And here's our workbench all finished. We did not screw the top down. It is so heavy that it'll just set there. And the cabinets are level. And you can see we painted the sides. And then we made a decision that because the lab is long and narrow, we were going to reattach the doors, but we decided that removing things from the open cabinets would be far easier than having doors. And that is how we built our workbench with 100% salvage parts.